Merry Christmas! It's Dani Fish. Do you like my sweater? I was gonna say it has moose. Is it moose or are they reindeer? I guess reindeer. The Christmas moose. This next recipe I'm excited for because it's taking like a Christmas staple in my household and turning it into something that has to do with ice cream. Not Christmas without rainbow cookies. If you don't know what a rainbow cookie is, let me explain. This is a traditional Italian dessert. It is layered to look like the Italian flag. So it's not a rainbow per se, it just has red, yellow, and green layers to it. It has raspberry preserves in between each layer, and the dominant flavor you're gonna get is this almondy, marzipan flavor, and then at the very top of the cookie, it's more cake-like than cookie-like, a nice thin layer of chocolate. So how do we make this into ice cream? If we were to try to make this a straight icebox cake with every single layer being ice cream, we'd have to use some type of stabilizer to make the ice cream melt slower, essentially, so that it holds its structure. I wasn't trying to do that. We don't really need to get into stabilizers right now. We'll save that for 2021. So for now, our red layer and our green layer, so our top and our bottom of our little sandwich, is going to be a nice light almond cake. And then the center is going to be an almond ice cream. Then we're gonna take those layers and layer them with raspberry preserves in the middle, just like the cookie does, and then top the whole thing with dark chocolate, and then slice them into little cookie slices. We are not using almond paste or marzipan in either the cake or the ice cream. That stuff does not freeze well. It pretty much turns into a rock. So in order to get our nice almondy flavor, what we're gonna use is an almond extract. Almond extract is super potent, so you don't need too much, but it gives such a good flavor. All right, get ready. Ice cream rainbow cookies starting now. We're gonna start off by making our cake layers. So we have flour and baking powder into a bowl, and you're gonna mix that together nicely so that it's all incorporated, and you're just gonna throw it to the side for now. Then you're gonna take a larger bowl and you're gonna add in softened butter, a little bit of sugar, and you're gonna whisk that or cream that together. If you have a stand mixer, you can use that too. I'm just using a whisk in a bowl. Then we're gonna add in 2 eggs and then whisk that together. Next, we're gonna add in our vanilla extract, just a little bit, and then our almond extract, the star of the show here, just a little bit more of that too. Whisk that together. And then the next step, we're gonna take some milk and our dry ingredients and go back and forth, alternating between milk, dry ingredients, and whisking that all together so that it is incorporated. You're gonna end up with a pretty thick batter. That's exactly how you want it. And then you're gonna separate this batter evenly as best as you can in between 2 bowls. So if you wanna use a scale, go for it. I'm just eyeballing what I think is half and half. And we're gonna color one of them red and one of them green. So I start off with about 4 drops of green and 3 drops of red, and then give those a good mix so that you get those traditional red and green colors. I didn't really think the green was as strong, so I added about 2 more drops into there. That's really all up to you and how strong your food coloring is. Once you have your batters all colored and ready to go, we're gonna prep our pans with a little bit of grease and then separate our batter into them evenly. Then you're gonna bake these guys at 350 degrees for about 9 minutes or so. It depends on how large your pan is, how hot your oven goes, a lot of factors in there. My best bet is just to, keep your eyes on them. Eyes on the prize, eyes on the cakes. Next, once your cakes have cooled, we're gonna trim them and we're going to layer them. So I'm gonna take off this little bump that it's got going on at the top there, and I'm gonna separate this into 2 thin layers. I always build my ice cream cakes directly in the pan that the cake has been built in. It's the easiest way. I line everything with plastic wrap, and then I throw that first layer down. Then I'm just gonna put everything to the side while I go and do the red layer, and I put that to the side also. Wrap everything up in plastic wrap while you're working on different things as well, just so that nothing really dries out too much. Next, we need to make our ice cream. So again, we're making an almond ice cream, which is essentially going to be exactly the same process as a vanilla ice cream, but we are subbing out our vanilla extract at the end for almond extract. So we go through exactly the same process of tempering our eggs, and then I'm going to strain it now into a bowl with a little bit extra cream and mix all of that together. Then again, the only difference is that instead of our vanilla extract, I'm adding in a nice almond extract to give it this nice subtle almondy flavor versus a vanilla. Once your ice cream's churned, we're now going to assemble everything. So I'm taking a nice thick raspberry preserve with all its seeds and all its glory, about 1.5 tablespoons on each little cake, and I'm spreading that out nice and even. Then I'm going to take about 2 little scoops of ice cream and spread that out as well. And then you need another layer of that raspberry, but it's going to be difficult to spread that over the ice cream. So what I did was I actually spread that on the back side of the red cake layer. Just like that, almost like a sandwich, like you're making a peanut butter and jelly. And then I flip it over so that the jelly side is down onto the ice cream. I repeat that with the other cake, and then we wrap it up nice and tight, and then we freeze that overnight. Now that everything is frozen, we have to trim this guy up. He's a little bit messy. This is exactly the same process you have to do for regular rainbow cookies themselves. I just take a hot knife because everything's frozen, so it makes it a little bit easier, and you trim those edges around until you get a nice, neat little, as neat as possible, little rectangle. And we pop that guy back in the freezer. Then we gotta prep our chocolate layer. So I take some dark chocolate, a little bit of coconut oil, and melt that down into a nice glossy little chocolate guy. We take out our rectangles and you put about 1 tablespoon on top and you spread them around. I'm glad we didn't put too much coconut oil because that will make the chocolate freeze too quickly once it hits the cold bar. This was a perfect consistency, spreadable enough, but then starts to harden pretty much right away. Make sure the chocolate doesn't drip on the sides, it's just meant for the top. Freeze that again for a little bit, and then you're gonna take a hot knife and separate it into little rectangles. You see me pause there for a second because every single slice I go back and I run it under hot water and wipe the knife off because it's the only way you're gonna be able to get through this without it completely mushing it. Eat the little scraps, and then now we have cute little ice cream rainbow cookies. They're a little messy. I will admit that they're not as like visually cute as the actual cookie is, but they're gonna taste good. Aside from being messy though, they look pretty much like identical. Oh yeah. That's crazy. Wow. That tastes exactly like a rainbow cookie. I was worried you were gonna really miss the almond paste or the marzipan in this, and you don't. The almond extract comes through. The subtleness of the raspberry seeds and the raspberry preserves, I think is what's giving me like straight nostalgia right now. I don't know why, but I feel like if you just use a jelly or a jam that doesn't have the seeds in it, you're not gonna get the same effect as like those little bursts or little crunch from the seeds. So make sure you get the preserves with the seeds in it. And then obviously like the dark chocolate is just like money. Those are dangerous because those are just like bite size. Just keep them coming. I would love to know if rainbow cookies are a staple in your family or if it's just mine that there will literally be chaos and murder if we don't have those on the table. If not, what is your family's traditional holiday cookies? I want to know. I hope you enjoyed this video and happy holidays to you and yours, and Merry Christmas, and say hello to Santa for me. I don't know why I like turned into the Grinch there at the last second, but okay. I also just heavily drooled on myself. Okay. All right. See you next time.